Hello everybody, it's Vinyl Rich here with Vinyl Finds 54, I believe. I got some VCLT, a big package from Haggerty, and there was quite a few things in this. First off, it was a book, Aerosmith with Stephen Davis, Walk This Way. Okay, that's the name of the book. Pretty cool. I'll check it out. I have a few books. It's going to be down on the list a little bit. I like the first few albums by, I like up to Draw the Line. After that I lost interest in Aerosmith, but this should be an interesting read from what I know about that band. There were a couple of 12 inches. First one is TSLO. True Sounds of Liberty, Thoughts of Yesterday, 1981 to 1982. This is basically their first two EPs. One was a 12-inch EP with 6 songs, and the other was a 7-inch EP with 4 songs. I have both those EPs, but it's kind of cool to have all those on an album. I would have liked it better if they would have just put the first EP on side 1, second EP on side 2. But it's on Posh Boy Records, and anybody that's familiar with Posh Boy, they know he likes to, Robbie Fields, he likes to repackage his stuff. And the second album was a band I'm not familiar with, Funeral Dress, Party Political Bullshit, and I would say this is a UK band. It looks like, to me, it looks like a oi punk. This is the inner sleeve. I know nothing about this band. It's the type of music I like, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it. Custom labels. Very cool. Ron knows I like hardcore punk. Excuse me. So he knew what to send. And he sent me some 7 inches. I mean, a bunch of them. And I've listened to 3 of them, I believe, 4 of them maybe. The first one I listened to 3 times, and it's a split with Good Riddance and Kill Your Idols. I kind of picked this one up first because the band names seem kind of familiar. And I mean, I hadn't heard the bands, but I had heard the names. And Good Riddance, they have 3 songs. Kill Your Idols has 4 songs. This came out in 2001. The first song, it doesn't really stand out. I mean, it's just a generic punk song, with the exception of they use words like subjugation. The second song is killer, though, by Good Riddance. The third song starts off with a really good opening riff, but it kind of evolves into a kind of like a Blink-182 song, and for me that's not necessarily a good thing. And it has some wanky words, lyrics, stuff like with a naked chest and a 2-ton heart. The other side was Kill Your Idols. I kind of like that side better. The first song is killer. It's the best song on the side, so a good way to start off that side. The second song has the most unhinged vocals, probably on the whole record, which is not a bad thing for me. That's a good thing. It's a good song, but it's not as good as the first song on side 1. And the third song and the fourth song are both good, fast songs. I noticed on the 4th song there are 2 vocalists. Some of the well, no, not the vocals, the lyrics, kind of forced. It's not great lyric writing on it. Talking too long maybe here. And this is the insert that came with it. And this is the vinyl, red vinyl. I'm just going to show the ones that I've listened to. This one here is another split with Ringworm and Terror. Ringworm has some heavy metal leanings with that double bass drum. The Terror, I really dig the vocalists on Terror, and there's some hints of guitar solos on that. And this is on, almost dropped it, on a turquoise blue vinyl. I'll have to get a sleeve for this. Oh no, yeah, I need a sleeve for that one. Now, the third one I listened to was not a split. It's by a band, Piece by Piece. And this was the best of the 3 singles that I had listened to so far. And I don't know if it's because it's not a split, or if it's because the band's from LA. This is a really good single. I mean, I really dug this one. And like I said, this on black vinyl, Piece by Piece. I mean, after listening to that, I said, you know what, I'll look into getting some more of theirs. And surprisingly, this was some more on the VCLT. It's a split with Donnybrook. Haven't listened to this one yet, but I'm sure it's going to be good. And then all these other ones I haven't listened to yet, so I'm not going to say much. It's Say Goodbye on Western Front Records, 6-song EP. Where Eagles Dare. This is number 8 out of 100. And 1,000 Words or Less is the name of the EP. This is a Triple Threat New Chapter EP. The Holy Mountain, another EP. Dead Hearts, another, looks like a 3-song single. This one here is Go It Alone, Vancouver Gold. Pretty cool looking single. And this one here is The Miracle Mile, The Future History. This is, it looks like it's Barcelona, Spain. I'm not sure if the band is from Barcelona, Spain or not. This one is Modern Life is War, 4-song EP. And the last one here is With Honor. I'd like to thank Ron Haggerty. Very cool. Check out his channel, and that's it for the VCLT. I'm going to show some recent finds. I had a brain fart there. First one here is Muddy Waters Woodstock album. Yeah, the Woodstock album. I really like this album. 73 or something like that. 75. Recorded February 6th and 7th, 1975. It has some interesting folks on here. It's got Levon Helm, Garth Hudson from the band, among other people. But yeah, this has a couple of songs on it that are, you know, kind of generic, not really great. But this has some really great stuff on it too. I like most of Muddy Waters' albums, and I'll probably get them when I come across them. The only two that I wouldn't pick up is probably the Muddy Waters Put the Unk and Funk. I mean, that's a good album, but it has some cheesy stuff on it. And it's on the 70s Chess label. He also came out with I think it was the Muddy Waters Band, had an instrumental album. I don't know if I would pick that up. This is a really good album here, though. Well, look, it's Stephen Stills' Manassas. I believe this is the 3rd Stephen Stills album, and I guess Manassas was the band. But I consider it basically a Stephen Stills song. I mean, album. Pretty cool gatefold. This is side 1 of this album is the best Stephen Stills side of any of his solo albums by far. It is just, the songs just flow into one another. It is fantastic. After that, not so much. In fact, if they would have maybe picked the best songs from the other three remaining sides, they could have had a really good single album. But still, you get the best songs from these three sides, and it's still not as good as side one. But you can find this album relatively cheap, and it's worth it just for side one of this. It's fantastic. It's on Atlantic Records, and this is what the custom sleeves look like. Same picture on both sides. Pretty cool. And it does come with this poster. It opens up. Pretty cool. I'm gonna hang it in my bathroom. The next one here is another. I had that album when I was younger, and I also had this when I was in high school too. Papa John Creech. This came out in '71. This was recorded when he was in Jefferson Airplane, and it is on the Jefferson Airplane label, Grunt Records, and it is pretty. Grunt was a subsidiary of RCA, which had that Dynaflex. This record is pretty much how I remember it. It's not a great album, but it is better than what I remember it as. It's got Grace Slick, Jack Cassidy, Paul Katner, basically all of the Jerry Garcia. I mean, it's got a gang of people on it. And it's got a wide variety of songs where he sings, others are instrumentals. Some of it has that New Orleans jazzy sound. But yeah, I like this album. Pretty cool. I like Papa John Creech. This next album here is The Animals with Eric Burdon, In the Beginning. And it isn't what I thought it was going to be. I mean, I looked at the cover, looked at the condition of the album, and I said, oh, I'll pick it up. Wand. After the Animals kind of dissolved, the original Animals, he moved to Frisco, and he started, it was Eric Burdon and the Animals. And I like those late 60s. I don't know if some of them came out in the early 70s, but I like those albums. They're more psychedelic. He had that song Monterey, Sky Pilot, and I kind of thought that this was from that era, but it's not. This is the very first recordings by Eric Burdon and the Animals. And it's live, and it has some old blues guy with him on a song. Let me look real quick. It's recorded in 1962, and I don't see who it is on here. Oh, is it Sonny Boy Williamson? But yeah, I thought, just by looking at the album cover, I thought it was going to be one of those psychedelic. It's not necessarily a bad album. It's not a great album. If I would have known what it was, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. Didn't pay much for it though. Now this last one is something, type of album that I don't normally show, because, well, I'll just show it. It's The Cure, The Head in the Door. I don't really show a lot of 80s, because I basically have most of what I want. The Cure is a band that I do like a lot, especially the earlier albums, but almost all their albums that came out in the 80s, I like them all. And there are a few. I really want an original of The Forest. But yeah, this is a good album. This has In Between Days, and that's that sound that they kind of developed after 3 or 4 albums. That sound that really blew up, and I mean they blew up in LA. I mean, they were playing 18,000 seat arenas in LA when they were probably playing a lot smaller venues in other cities. But man, they blew up. They were playing the Rose Bowl. I mean, 100,000 seat arena stadiums by the end of the 80s. This is the original sleeve. It's a really good album. Like I said, I dig The Cure. I dig some 80s music. A lot of it sounds pretty dated. But this is one band I think, especially their early stuff, I really dig it. And this probably came out in the middle 80s. I don't know. This is probably my third, fourth album by them I have. And very good addition. Anyways, that's it. Take care, everybody. See you later.